This show has been a showcase to show the larger community of the various abilities of blind and visually impaired people.
Also to give the kids and even the teachers role models of what blind people can be expected to do.
The logo, it's on pint glasses, travel mugs, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies. There's even a dog t-shirt if you've got a pet or a guide dog that you want to have support the show.
I'm always super happy and excited when I encounter blind people who do all of these wonderful things.
Welcome to Blind Abilities. I'm Simon Bonenfant. Not a lot of good things came out of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, this is one of them. Since 2020, the Keystone Chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania has been hosting Believe You Can, a virtual talent show featuring blind and visually impaired performers throughout the world. This year's show will be on Saturday, October 14th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. For this podcast, I sat down with fellow BYC committee members Harriet Go, Lisa Bryant, and David Goldstein. Julia LaGrand, the winner of last year's show, also stopped by to share her experience as a performer and to discuss the wonderful work she does as a musician. To learn more about the show and to purchase your tickets today, visit us online at www.believeyoucan.live. That's www.believeyoucan.live. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy our conversation about Believe You Can. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this wonderful podcast today. We have a very packed virtual studio. We are going to be talking about Believe You Can, a talent show hosted by the Keystone Chapter of the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. And for those who have been listening for a long time, you may remember us talking about this before. This is our 4th annual Believe You Can, and we have had podcasts about this show for all the years that we've done it so far. So it's definitely a tradition that we do it again this year. I'm Simon Bonenfant. I am on the committee of Believe You Can, and I am secretary of the Keystone Chapter. And of course, for those who have been listening for a long time, you'll recognize my voice as a podcaster as well. We have David Goldstein, who is the treasurer of the Keystone Chapter. And for those who are in our chapter, we know that, David, you'll be the treasurer forever. David, it's great to be with you. In addition to being the treasurer, you are also the chair of the Believe You Can committee this year. So how are you doing today, David?
I am doing great, Simon. Thanks for having us on. This is a great opportunity to talk about Believe You Can 2023.
Absolutely. And we also have Lisa Bryant, who is the second vice president of the Keystone Chapter, and she was the chair of the committee for the past 3 years. Lisa, it's great to have you on.
It's great to be on.
Great. And you may recognize Lisa from several podcasts on blind abilities in the past as well, or for those who listen to her podcast. We'll get to that in a bit. Yeah, Lisa, you are definitely quite the podcast veteran, and we're glad to have you here.
It's a pleasure. Thank you for having us.
And we also have Harriet Go, who is president of the Keystone Chapter and does a lot of great work with the Believe You Can committee. Harriet, great to have you back.
Hey, Simon, it's good to be back with all of you here again. It's definitely becoming a tradition, so it's really great to be doing this for the 4th year.
And in keeping with our tradition, we have a Believe You Can performer, and not just any Believe You Can performer, but last year's Believe You Can winner, Julia LaGrand. Julia is a wonderful violinist, and she is a music student studying violin as a career. Julia, it's great to have you.
I'm so excited to be here. Really, really glad to be here.
Great, terrific. Why don't I turn it over to you, Harriet, first? For those who are unfamiliar with the Keystone Chapter or the National Federation of the Blind, can you give a quick overview of what the National Federation of the Blind is and where the Keystone Chapter falls in the umbrella of the organization?
Sure. Thanks, Simon. The National Federation of the Blind is a national nonprofit member-based organization Federation, which was started in 1940. And it's grown a lot since then. The National Federation of the Blind has its headquarters in Baltimore, Maryland. And within each state, there's an affiliate of the National Federation of the Blind. So we here today are from the National Federation of the Blind of Pennsylvania. And within each affiliate, there are a number of local chapters and divisions. Pennsylvania has quite a few. We are the Keystone Chapter, and we are one of the chapters in the affiliate. We do many things throughout our chapter throughout the year to support blind people, to do outreach to our communities, and to provide public awareness and education to other people about the capabilities and the potential of blind people to live lives that are meaningful, fulfilling, and independent. So that's pretty much in a nutshell our mission. Our mission follows suit with what our affiliate's mission is, which is also the NFB National's mission. And Believe You Can is actually becoming a staple, not only public awareness and community outreach effort, it's also a fundraiser. And it's also a way that we recognize and celebrate Blindness Equality Achievement Month, which is happening in October.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, Blindness Equality Achievement Month is really one of the pillars of our organization, and the time that we can come together and show the public the capabilities of the blind. And as we do that every day, but October, we do that especially. Can you give an overview of what some of the things that the Keystone Chapter does that Believe You Can helps to support?
Believe You Can, we actually started this during the pandemic as a way not just for our members to stay connected with each other, and also a way to reach out to the community in a way that was COVID friendly. So beyond that, we're really hoping is that, we can show people the true capabilities of blind people. And in that as well, going along with that theme, we partner with a local school for children with visual impairments called St. Lucy Day School for Children with Visual Impairments, which is in the Philadelphia area. And it's a kindergarten through 8th grade school. It's a school, obviously, for the blind that we've partnered with throughout the year to do many things. We've done Braille Readers Are Leaders with them. We've done in the past Braille carnivals with them. And one of the things we also do is support them throughout the holidays. And we do provide them with a holiday party to celebrate the holidays. But beyond that, there's a deeper meaning. And many of our chapter members go there to not just have fun with the kids, which is really great, but also to give the kids and even the teachers role models of what blind people can be expected to do. We're trying to break the stigma of blindness being something that hinders our lives or limits us from what we can do in our lives and in our career choices. So we're trying to break that stigma and show these kids at a very young age that blind people can be successful. Blind people can raise families. Blind people can hold jobs. Blind people can buy houses and be independent and alongside with our sighted counterparts. And whether that message is explicit or indirect, that is one of the goals that we strive to achieve. So definitely St. Lucy's is a school that we've been supporting for years. And this Believe You Can event helps us to continue that effort.
Well, we know that Believe You Can helps to support a great cause. Let's turn it over to you, David. Can you give an overview of what Believe You Can is? And I know that there's going to be some changes this year to the way we've done things in previous years. Can you touch on that as well?
Believe You Can, when it started, as Harriet pointed out, it was a COVID-friendly event. We needed a way to do some outreach in the community. Obviously, when we couldn't be out in the community, we needed a way to fundraise when we couldn't sell M&Ms and the other things that we do out in the community. And we kicked it around and we thought a virtual talent show for blind and visually impaired performers is a perfect thing to do all of that. We got blind and visually impaired performers to come on and they did their thing. And if any of you saw the first one, we had a lady that taught clog dancing. We've had quite a few different characters and it's been a lot of fun to see that. But it was also a way to raise money by selling tickets to the event. And in the past, we have had a winner, which Julia was last year. She won the top spot. And we are not doing that this year. We had some trouble with the voting and there were issues using Zoom and counting them in a timely fashion. And we thought rather than continue on with honoring a first, second, and third place winner with prizes, we now are going to do basically a door prize for performers. They have roughly a 25% chance of winning one of these prizes, which, depending on how good Julia wouldn't have trouble winning, because if you go back and go to YouTube and listen to her performance last year, you can see that she's got it going on and probably was an odds-on favorite to win again. But everybody now has an equal chance of winning. We're going to put all the names into a hat and at 3 different times throughout the show, draw a winner for a $50 prize. And the folks can determine if they want it to be a cash prize via check or an Amazon gift card or whatever they want. But that's the big difference this year. There's not going to be the voting like we've had in previous years.
Okay. And I know that we also have some exciting things for the audience to take part in, one of which being our Believe You Can merch, which is new this year.
Yes. I'm a little biased by the logo. And just so folks know, the logo is the same every year. However, the color of the star changes. It's basically a star with the right hand points on the middle right and lower right are cut off with the words believe in big text, and then you can exclamation underneath that, and then the year. The year and the star are in the same color. The first year it was gold, the second year it was green, and so forth. This year it's blue. And the merch that we have has that logo on it with the web address where you can go to read about past performers and things like that, which is believeyoucan.live. So it's on pint glasses, travel mugs, coffee mugs, t-shirts, hoodies, things like that. There's even a dog t-shirt. If you've got a pet or a guide dog that you want to have support the show, all profits from that go to support the Keystone Chapter with the things that we do, both for scholarships and things for our members to go to different NFB events or to St. Lucy's for the stuff that we do there.
And I know that the pricing is the same from in years past, so that's great for everyone who's been to the show in years past. We want you to come again. Can you give an overview of the pricing structure?
Sure. There are 3 price points this year. In the past, we had just 2, the individual ticket, which is $10, and a watch party ticket, which was $25 and still is $25. But we've added this year what's called a gold circle, and that is $100. Now, the people are saying, who spends $100? We've had in the past several people buy multiple $25 watch party tickets because they wanted to support the chapter. So they spent $100. This way, they don't have to add 4 different watch party tickets. They can just go and buy the one gold circle and they're all set to go. So those are the 3 price points this year.
That's great. It's definitely a very nice addition. And we thank those who have been and will continue to be very generous as to helping us with a great cause. So Lisa, you've been chair of the committee for the past 3 years, as I mentioned before. What does it mean for you to have worked as chair on this committee and continue to work now coordinating the sound checks and helping folks sign up for this event? What does that mean to you personally, and how do you feel that it connects with the overall mission of the NFB and the work that we do?
Well, I am glad to, again, be the point of contact for the talent. That's probably been, over the last 3 years, my favorite part of this, because meeting all of these different people and from all parts of the globe, really, and their various talents, it's just great to connect with them. And frankly, there's always a nice synergy. I like that they feel comfortable enough to ask, what may seem like a simple question, but they're not intimidated by reaching out, oh, can I ask Lisa that? I've made some really good friendships, even if for just that, month or 2 of prepping for the show. So I'm very excited and glad to continue doing that. I think what it means is it's just another way, this show has been a showcase to show the larger community of the various abilities of blind and visually impaired people. Having a hand in that is just great. I mean, I love that I could be, like I said, a point of contact, maybe an encouragement, and hopefully this year, even more so because of the fact that it's not so much talent driven in terms terms of air quote winners. Just come out, show us what you got, show us your stuff, and you'll win a $50 gift card or check. But that sort of pressure isn't quite as intense this year. So I'm hoping that'll, encourage more people who may or may not have considered it in the past because of the fact that it was based on voting. Hopefully that'll open up the opportunity to others.
So I know we will have about 15 performers.
Yes, that's
and
okay.
Can you give a little bit of summary of some of the acts that we'll be hearing?
Yeah, well, we've got, again, a nice variety. We have at least one person doing spoken word, and then there are a couple of folks who will be singing as well as, playing some sort of instrument. So I like that. I like that there's that variety. We always do seem to have a lot of singers. That's just, I guess, kind of a very, I don't want to say common, just a popular talent. So we're a little heavier on the singing side, but already, even though we've not yet reached our cap, we already have a good diversity.
So let's hear from you, Julia. As I mentioned, you are a very accomplished violinist. Can you share a little bit of your story? What drives your passion for music, and how did you get into music? And how did you get into Believe You Can?
Yeah, thank you so much. I am a freshman right now at the New England Conservatory of Music, so I am a full-time music school student. I have been playing violin for 14 years, so basically my whole life, and I keep coming back to it because I think it's such a great way to communicate beauty to the world. I think music is just phenomenal force to express a whole wide range of emotions and put beauty into a world that, sometimes can feel filled with so many other things that are less beautiful. So I think both to reflect the beauty in the world and to offer beauty in painful places is really one of the best things about music. As I said, I've been playing violin for a long time, and for a long time I've been really becoming conscious of low expectations around blind musicians, or just expectations that all blind musicians are jazz players or all blind musicians are singers or pianists. And while those are all great things, and I am always super happy and excited when I encounter blind people who do all of these wonderful things, there are kind of, I think, expectations around that there won't be very many classical blind musicians because it is traditionally, it's so sort of based on the printed page, and there's not much awareness in the world about Braille music or effective ways of learning by ear. And so it's sort of been my mission for a while now to kind of promote blind classical string playing in particular and blind musicianship. So I kind of became involved with the NFB through the Performing Arts Division, which is a national division, and I am now the secretary of that division as well. And so I kind of heard about Believe You Can through the NFB, and so I was super happy to participate and honored and excited to have been a winner last year. But I am also so thrilled to hear about the new format this year, because I do think that, the most important thing is to celebrate a whole range of talents and to showcase those to the broader community. And so I think formatting it around different incentives is just really awesome. And I'm so excited to see how that changes the show this year.
You make some wonderful points about you as a blind violinist and the expectations that you're trying to raise, and also trying to help other blind people as well who may be interested in getting into classical violin playing. Can you give any advice to folks who would like to play violin, specifically classical violin, as a blind musician? What is some things that have helped you, or what are some things that you do in your musical process?
Yeah, I think the number one thing is to find teachers and mentors who really believe in your capacity to play the instrument at whatever level you want to play it at, whether you want to play it for fun or whether you want to take it super seriously. Well, it is possible, of course, to be self-taught, and there are some virtues in that. Studying music is not a cheap endeavor. There is something so important, I think, about connecting with the teacher, if it's at all possible, and finding a teacher who believes, like I said, in your capabilities as a blind musician and who's willing to help you kind of do some problem solving, because a lot of how stringed instruments and classical music are taught is super, super visually based. So I do think that an element of someone coming alongside you, whether that's a more experienced sighted musician or a more experienced blind musician, is really a powerful thing. And I think especially when you're able to find, blind musician mentors, that I think is probably the most powerful thing to kind of ask all of those questions to, because it is just a field that is, very sight centric.
Great advice. Thank you for that. And unfortunately, you will not be in Believe You Can this year, but for those who would like to check out previous talent shows, David, as you alluded to, they can do that and they can go back and listen to Julia's performance from last year. Where can they do that, David?
Best place to see the whole show is on the Believe You Can YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/@BelieveYouCan talent show. And you'll see the 2021 and the 2022 shows. It's funny, in my own podcast, I used Julia's performance from last year, along with some audio that we got during our sound checks. That's one thing that we do, that we contact and have a little session with all the performers individually before the show so they can get all the settings right. We make sure they know how to set up their camera so they could be on camera and things like that. So last year we were able to get some sound clips and Julia introduced herself. So I kind of edited that, and I have a segment in my I Can't See You podcast called Just Listen. A couple of weeks ago, I used her and her introduction and then added her performance from the show. But again, the best place would be youtube.com/@BelieveYouCan talent show.
And for those who would like to purchase tickets to Believe You Can, go to www.believeyoucan.live. Again, the show is Saturday, October 14th, 2023. At 8 p.m. Eastern. So we hope everyone listening will stop what you're doing right now and go to the website of BelieveYouCan.live and get your tickets to support this wonderful event. I'd like to thank everyone for listening today to this podcast, talking about all the great work that we are doing with Believe You Can 2023. Again, the time and date for Believe You Can is October 14th, 2023 at 8 p.m. Eastern via Zoom. It's going to be a great time. $10 for an individual ticket, $25 for a watch party ticket, and $100 if you want to be part of our Gold Circle. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for your generous donations to this wonderful work that we do. And thank you to our guests today for taking their time and coming on to talk about their experience as well. Thank you to all our guests, and have a wonderful day. It was a really great time talking with my fellow committee members about Believe You Can and the wonderful cause it supports. I encourage you to head over to www.believeyoucan.live and get your tickets today so you don't miss out on an incredible night of talent. Again, if you missed any of that information discussed in the podcast, don't hesitate to check out the show notes. It's all there for you. Thanks for listening and have a wonderful day.
For more podcasts with the blindness perspective, check us out on the web at www.blindabilities.com, on Twitter at blindabilities, and download the free Blind Abilities app from the App Store and Google Play Store. That's 2 words, Blind Abilities. And if you want to leave some feedback, give us some suggestions, give us a call at 612-367-6093. We'd love to hear from you. A big shout out to Chi Chow for his beautiful music. You can follow Chi Chow on Twitter at LChiChow. I want to thank you for listening, and until next time, bye-bye.
When we share
what we see through each other's eyes, we can then begin to bridge the gap between the limited expectations and the reality
of blind abilities.
And the realities of blind abilities.